I know this is a long video, so quick disclaimer, this is Joe to Pro. This is a live analysis I do on my Twitch page every single week for subscribers. If you want more detail on how to get your gameplay analyzed, it's linked in the description below. You can check that out. I am not going to stop making my regular YouTube videos that are a regular length that are designed for YouTube. That's still going to happen. I just also want to put the full VODs from Joe to Pro up on my YouTube page as well. I understand they're long. I would like your feedback. Let me know what you guys think. I just think in the end of the day, there's a lot of value to be had in these videos, despite them being longer and more casual in style. If you genuinely want to improve in Halo 5, there's a lot of great value in these Joe to Pro videos. So let me know what you guys think of the content, despite the length of it, and I'll see if I can also cut out highlights on specific things, maybe add those to future videos, but it would be nice to have one playlist of just long Joe to Pro videos that you can watch at your convenience. So let me know, guys. Enjoy the video. See you around. Similar strategy to the last analysis I did, where we'll play through one of his lives and like without any commentary, just play through it and then go back and take a look at it, and I'll talk about what I think I need to talk about. Anyway, just to preface this, guys, so today's Joe to Pro is going to be on Valkyrie FPS. Valkyrie is, I believe, an Onyx ranked player. I'm not sure, but judging by his gameplay, I'd guess Onyx rank at least. He's definitely pretty solid at this game, has some pretty reasonable awareness, and we'll see that today. Thank you, Garrett. Get your pen and paper ready. Are you going to be here? Are you going to watch? Yeah, he's Onyx? Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, Coliseum, HCS, CTF. Of course, they're going to win this game. It's a close game. They lose. They're losing for the majority of the game. They make a bit of a comeback towards the end. So let's take a look at his first life. Oh, right. You got to watch NFL. All right, dude. Okay, now solid opening strat. I don't think there's anything specifically like wrong with how he played here. It was kind of an unfortunate situation. They lost 2 in the first half there, and it was like a 4v2 type scenario. Like the enemy team definitely had numbers. The only thing I could say is maybe he had to play a little bit more passively in the start, but this starting strat is solid. So you're sprinting and he thrusts on contact with the floor. This could be a thrust slide. If you sprint and then time your thrust and slide here, you can launch yourself right over the nades, and that's a nice, clean, and efficient way to get there. So he didn't quite do that. A thrust slide might have been a little faster. He goes and grabs the nades. The objective here is you're tossing them into sniper ramp. I also think it might have been effective if he did one sniper ramp and then one over slightly to the left, so it bounced right where Plum is jumping up to, so he could have taken advantage. Actually, he does do that, but he misses it by a fraction. You can see just had to get a little bit higher. And of course, while he's here, he's thinking about his thrust in the back pocket. You know that you could be pressured from underneath, so he's ready to thrust. So this is how you know he's done this type of strat before. So I think this is an effective way to play that strat. You get out of there, go for the reload, whatever. I would say from this position, you can jump back onto the little oven. Instead, he's going to opt to, you know, throw nades, kind of hold himself off. So here, back on the oven, and then he jumps up to top cat. The interesting thing you got to try to keep in mind here is he's lost 2 teammates. Let's go back real quick. Okay, so 2 of his teammates dead, right? So at this point, and I guess they got a kill on the opposition, so it's a 3 versus 2 in this scenario. They're down numbers. He does want to kind of play passively if possible. But I don't think it's wrong for him to jump up to this catwalk. One thing to notice, though, he's got a teammate to his left, his immediate pair, who's in a battle on the sniper ramp. So just kind of bear that in mind as you push up. There's fire, there's heat on your left-hand side. If he was, like, super clutch, he could have grabbed the plasma, switched nades really quick, and got a nice stick there. But this is also acceptable. And then this is the only issue, is like he chose to escape this route. That's why you want to keep that left-hand side, the battle going on your left, in the back of your mind, because I personally think the best escape route in this scenario would be for him to wrap around and go silver rather than do this. Or if he's going to jump out, just to consider this up angle, like to consider this challenge point. Players always challenge from this location, and his reticle's not, you know, ready for that. Ultimately, though, considering the fact that he's down numbers, he probably could have died either way. Like, it's just a tough situation, so I can't necessarily say it was wrong, but he could have potentially gone the silver exit had he known that, like, there was all that heat on his left-hand side. And Heavy Debbie, thank you so much for that sub, dude. I appreciate it. Want to see some Gears 5 ranked and clap some cheeks? Maybe later, dude. But thank you so much for that sub. Today we're going to do some Halo, and I will be playing more Gears so we can do exactly what you said. Clap some of those cheeks, man. I appreciate the sub. We're going to check out the next live.
Flag taken.
How does that happen? That's pretty funny.
Blue flag returned. Blue flag reset.
Okay. Let's go back to the start of this life. So he dies, spawns up, and opts to go snipe side. So he's got a teammate on his elbow. He is kind of down numbers in this situation, so you want to be kind of careful. I don't think it's wrong for him to expand out cave here. I think this is solid, and hold cave. He burns an early thrust here, but this is one time where it's good to burn an early thrust. His objective here is if the guy looks at him, tries to get a quick no-scope, then he can potentially dodge that no-scope by doing an early thrust. So I think that's totally fine. And then he holds his angle here, uses his cover effectively, and manages to kind of back down that player, stays alive. So everything he's doing is solid. It's giving his teammates time to push up. His teammate grabs the snipe. He goes the wide angle, so I like this play still. This is where it gets kind of interesting. His teammate with the snipe, just for whatever reason, like I guess recognizes, so the flag gets pulled. He decides to turn back, right? So his teammates turn back. Now he's ISO, and his teammates are focused on that flag pull. So he has an interesting opportunity where, like, he could try to go out snipe and maybe potentially get, like, a flag, but at the same time, they don't have any slays. Like, all the numbers on red team are up, so I can understand his option to, like, instead of expanding out and trying to go for some sort of a risky flag pull, he goes up this direction. In which case, I would say baiting this area would be pretty good. Like, if you're standing here, just listen and try to bait this, because that's how you can catch that player who's jumping up. He gets lucky. He jumps forward without even considering that left side, and he could have died for something like this, but he gets lucky that this player, for whatever reason, is also unaware. So I would just say, like, just to make sure that that kind of situation doesn't happen, you could sit here and knowing that your teammates are all kind of focused on that flag, just kind of bait, you know, just wait a second, listen, just try to, you know, make sure somebody's not on your left-hand side. But regardless, gets the best of the situation, so good stuff there. He'll go for a nade here. He doesn't want to push up on, you know, the window immediately, which is fine. Notices this player is challenging. He'll jump back, try to take this fight. So you could say, like, potentially time is lost, like, maybe he could have, like, opted to just immediately go for the flag. I don't think it's necessarily wrong for him to try to get that straggler, that last kill, who managed to be a distraction. So, you know, it's fine. It is what it is. He's down. A bit of, like, a reset on, you know, the situation here. They do have rockets, which is nice, but yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say it was wrong for him to try to go for that kill. He just gets, you know, unfortunately crossed up and goes down. Let's check out his next life. How does the red guy not see that? I have no idea. Like, he walked past him. He bumped into him and walked past. So, like, I literally have no idea. That's why, like, I was saying if he kind of baited that, he would have, you know. Anyway, he's lucky that that guy was just clearly, like, smoking something, or I don't know. He just was not looking the right way. Okay, so next slide. Nasty 5. That was sick.
Perfect kill. That's a double.
Hubba hubba. What's up, Donald Duck? How's it going, buddy?
Rocket launcher intended.
That double team action in. Worked out pretty well. Watch the insta melt here. It just dies immediately. Okay. So some interesting stuff happened in this life for sure. Okay. So he dies here. He spawns elbow. Now I love what he does off the start of this spawn in that he recognizes that, look at that. So the rocket player who stayed alive on top cat got 2 slays immediately. They're up in slays. He has a teammate already on their cave. Understand that I guess elbow might be open in this situation, but I think what he's going to do is block elbow back base spawn is going to open up. I like that he recognizes that he's up numbers. He's got teammates already pushed up, so he doesn't waste any time. He immediately goes up to rocks and pushes up. That's how you can, so there's the elbow spawn. Elbow was open, so player spawned elbow, went in for the defense, which is fine. He comes up on elbow here, so he's taking a good position. His teammates, you know, just trying to coordinate your timing and your push with your teammates. They go in for the distraction. This timing actually works out pretty well for him, because he gets a nice play behind him. And take your time here. Notice how he gets a little antsy. He sprints too early. He misses the shot. Just take your time, hit your shots, pace yourself, and get those shots. This is nasty. Jump thrust forward, like dives on him, gets a 5 shot, so amazing work right there. And then this is where I'm kind of like raising question marks. So he starts to back up, but personally, you just got a sick double, and it's a 2-2. So like, okay, let's like take a look at the lay of the land after he gets these kills. What do you guys think would be the right thing to do here? So you get 1 kill, 2 kills, 2 down right now, right, on the enemy team. Of course, your teammates have died as well, but it's a 2 versus 2 scenario, right? So numbers are even. I don't think you necessarily have to back too far up here. I think you can play elbow. Like imagine, because watch this, you'll see like right above him.
Perfect kill.
His teammate is right above him, and his teammate has chosen to play elbow. So you could do a 2-man push on elbow, let your teammate run in with full shields, go for the flag, while he covers on elbow from behind with the cover fire, and then pull that flag out quickly on rocket side while you have the timing to do so. I think if they were very quick and coordinated, they could have got a rocket side flag pull. Instead, he's kind of backing up, which I would say if you're going to back up, try to consider alternative routes to continue to apply pressure without losing your positioning. So, like, when you're standing here in elbow and you're deciding, you know, if you want to back up to go to bottom mid, that's one option. But remember, you can also jump, clamber this rock, get up into their window, and immediately you're still applying pressure in their window. You're in a great, you know, vantage point. So that's a good alternative option. He's going, it looks like he is opting to go through the bottom mid route, and then he gets stopped by a player here, so that's why he ultimately continues to back up even farther, and then he's just kind of completely out of that field of play, out of that opportunity, so there's no way that he's going to be able to help in any kind of a flag pull here. So, like, once he's backed up 2 times, I kind of get why he continued to go back. Like, he tried to go bottom mid, he was stopped. But I think you got to recognize there's an opportunity in the elbow there. You could potentially get a run with the time that you have. It's 2 versus 2. You still have even numbers. You don't need to back off completely. Work with your teammate on elbow. You can get a run opportunity. So, and then the rockets are up as well now. So, nice shots onto elbow to back that player down. He's going to move over rockets. Pretty safe thrust to get himself back behind cover here. 2 players stacked on top rocks. Works out really well. Manages to get a double team. So this is all solid. And he's going to try to move up with his teammate. So I don't think there's anything really wrong with this push here. You know, he's the back player here. He can get an angle in. You could say that maybe he thrusted too late. At the same time, he got melted by 2 players so quickly. So it's kind of hard to, you know, fully react to a situation like that. So I can't really knock him for getting just completely melted like that. But yeah, so the biggest thing to recognize is he backed out of a situation where he might have had an opportunity for a nice early flag pull there if he worked with his teammate that was right beside him. Next slide. Glad you're enjoying the analysis, Donald Duck. Would love the feedback from you guys. Honestly, I'm learning as we go. I do not know everything there is to know about Halo, everything there is to know about analyzing micro, macro gameplay. I'm doing my best to learn and to try to, you know, teach you guys any way that I can, but your feedback is important to me. Something I'm going to start doing is sending DMs to everybody's gameplay that I break down and ask them what they thought of the breakdown, whether or not it was helpful, if there was something I did that I could potentially improve on. I'm always looking for that, guys, so your feedback is very appreciated. Thank you for the follow. Whoever that was. Let me check real quick. A Jaguar with the follow. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. So next life from Valkyrie. Oh, okay. All right, so he dies. He spawns up. He has a teammate top rocks. He decides he's going to try to go for this jump here, which I think you can make with a nice late crouch jump, but he just narrowly misses it. And then once he falls, decides, I'm going to go bottom mid, which actually ends up being a pretty solid strat here. You can see they do have numbers, but he ends up getting like a sneaky opportunity behind enemy lines here. So if you play safe here, you don't sprint and kind of take your time. I understand and kind of like agree with this mindset. I think now that he spotted that player on cave, is pushed up, I feel like he should start moving quicker. He should, you know, get ready to sprint, realize that, you know, he might be alone in this situation. He can sprint, grab that flag, take it out, elbow super quick. Also recognize he has a player rocket side, so bearing that in mind that he has a player who spawned elbow on rockets, if he takes it out rockets, that might be like a nice safe route. But he's a little slow on it. Recognizes a one-shot. Big missed opportunity here. Unfortunately, he jump thrusts too early. He could have got a nice headshot, killed that guy, and jump thrusted out. That would have been really solid. Because now he's shooting him in the back. So he has to toss it out. Goes for a stick. That's a great opportunity to try to get a stick. So I respect that attempt there. And then if you miss it, jump thrust, get out of that situation. And this part's interesting. So he dies here. And, I mean, some people might not think too much about this. You know, maybe it was an unwinnable situation. I think it might actually be possible to survive or at least milk in this situation. It all depends on what he chooses to do as an escape. So understand that, okay, so a couple things. Sniper is going to be up in 2 seconds, which is something that you want to kind of be thinking in the back of your mind. If you jump up to this angle, you're revealing yourself to so many, you know, there's so many, I don't want to say angles again, but you're revealing yourself to angles, basically, from sniper, from, you know, across the map, basically, when you get up on this ledge. Knowing that sniper's up, getting on this ledge is very risky. Not to say that it's, like, wrong for him to do. He doesn't have too many options. However, going down might have been better. Because snipe's coming up, that's their focus. He might have been able to go down, go around to silver, go to oven, and try to escape that way. Or, at least if you clamber up here, be prepared to immediately drop off. So have his reticle placed towards sniper, knowing that snipe's coming up. So at least he can see this enemy and potentially dodge. But ultimately, it's a hard situation to get out of. Just some stuff to think about, though, in that kind of scenario. Let's see the next life. Would you analyze our gameplay from AC? Curious to think what plays we could have made better. Are you talking about H3 gameplay from AC? I wouldn't. The thing about analyzing this gameplay is I get access to the one POV, and I can see his POV, like, in, you know, accordance with everybody else, basically. So it's, like, very easy to isolate just what he's doing and how that works with his teammates. In something like a tournament environment, I would only get those brief moments of your POV, and then it would switch between other players. I could still do it, though. I could do, like, a larger breakdown on something like that, so something to consider. But yeah, if it's Halo 3 and it's on the live stream, just link it to me if you come up in my weekly breakdown thing, and I can try doing that as well. But I get a lot more free reign to see everything on this this setup, is all I'm saying. Anyway, let's do the next slide.
Blue flag reset. Red flag taken. Blue carrier spotted.
This life is really interesting, macro wise. You'll see. Okay. Oh yeah, this is the life. Sorry, my bad. Okay. So he spawns up. He opts to go blue maze, which I find blue maze is an option that he likes to choose. He tends to choose blue maze a lot when he spawns, which isn't necessarily bad, especially considering he has a player on snipe side. It's a good middle route here, so it works in this scenario. Tries to get a stop in the flag, recognizes he has a teammate right behind him, puts one shot in, realizes he doesn't need to do anything to help with that anymore. That's fine. So he'll push up here. He's pushing up solo in this scenario. Recognize that your teammate kind of went out that direction. All three of your teammates are on your right-hand side. So by pushing up solo, you've got two big areas of focus here. You got your top cat, you got snipe. So he could get in the middle of like a pretty bad situation if he's not careful and he doesn't play his life kind of low profile, right? So staying below here is kind of solid. He's going to jump, fly up onto this player. This is once again one of those scenarios where it's like his left-hand side is super vulnerable to snipe. So bearing that in mind, you can strafe and stay alive here. Maybe try to use this little bit of wall here as cover as you try to like approach this player so that you don't immediately get lit up on the side. Watch, he gets kind of lucky, and maybe he also kind of knows that too. He's strafing pretty effectively here. He gets like kind of in this area behind the wall. This one player spots him with snipe, whiffs it. He just misses him, right? So big distraction here, doing some good stuff. I was also thinking this is kind of a cool opportunity to take advantage of this little ledge. I'm not sure if anybody ever or if many of you guys try to go for this, but he can kind of maintain this high ground, apply pressure, or just kind of wait to see if there's a re-challenge by just jumping and holding crouch and landing on this little ledge up here, and he would be completely out of the line of fire of that sniper. Kind of an interesting opportunity, not necessary. I think he still played his life well here, but something to keep in mind. It might have worked out there. And then this melee is great. So just keep in mind that like he drops down, recognize he has a player on snipe who's pushing him, turns around, jumps, melees, doesn't go for the clamber, which is huge. Like, you go for the clamber, you're committed, you're screwed. Just going for a melee without clambering is great. He doesn't have a full commitment there. He puts damage in, and then he changes lanes, goes for an expanded route here on snipe. So big thing to consider. This is the last player on red that's alive in this situation. So let's take a look at the slays when he gets that kill. Hold up.
Flag taken.
Where is he? Okay, so if you look at the kill feed, everybody's like up right now. Wait for it. 1 red player dead. 2 red player dead. 3 red players are down, right? 3 down. He's pushing up. There's 1 player on red left alive, and they've located him. He's on red cave. Right? So here's the interesting macro scenario that's going to take place. 3 red players are on spawn. Look at the location of his teammates. You've got 1 on elbow, and you've got 1 pushing into flag. So the moment that they spawn, they're basically blocking elbow flag, and then he's pushing up on cave. So you'll see, bam. He's pushing cave. You got 1 on the flag, you got 1 on elbow. So that blocks all 3 of these spawn locations and will force a spawn bottom red. So an interesting macro scenario here to try to consider. Like, you got 3 slays, your teammates are pushing up through elbow side, and you're pushing up on snipe. You're blocking all the spawns in their base. Try to be aware that this bottom red base spawn might be an opportunity, and also because of team proximity. Look at this. 3 players just spawned bottom red, and they're all going to fly through here in this direction. So what he does when he gets this kill, he takes snipe. He's predicting an elbow side spawn, but he didn't bear in mind that this spawn happened bottom red. 3 players are up bottom red. He's looking at a spawn where nobody is. He's got the wrong timing to be looking at this red spawn. Though I understand the intention to try to, like, be a back player, make sure somebody doesn't come through and, try to take out his flag carrier or whatever, but he's, like, missing a big opportunity by not, being aware of this spawn time. So 3 went down. They spawned up bottom red. Being aware this would have been huge. And then he goes to hold the angle. Now, holding this angle for the last spawner isn't necessarily the wrong thing to do, but he stays here way too long. And the big way to know that he stays here too long is his flag carrier has effectively left, right? So if you're holding this angle, you're trying to protect your flag carrier, and your flag carrier leaves and he goes into the window, you should not be holding this back angle anymore, I don't think, at least. Because, first of all, it's a very limiting angle. Like, you can barely see the players that spawn red elbow. And under what circumstances would a player that spawns red elbow go through base to try to cut off the flag? They would just go up rocks, right? So you got to kind of predict these types of scenarios where, like, the flag carrier is already gone. Whoever spawns elbow is going to fly up rocks. You're not going to see that guy if you're in this cave. He needs to think a little bit earlier. He needs to reposition himself to an angle like this so he can cut off, a player going on elbow or over here. And also by repositioning himself, he would notice this guy, right, a little bit earlier. Now, it kind of works into his advantage. One thing, I don't know if he should just immediately be sprinting as well. I feel like he should be walking here, so he's not immediately on the radar, but that's one thing. He ends up luckily getting behind this guy, panics a little bit, burns the thrust, misses a lot of shots, and ends up going down. So kind of an unfortunate panic situation there. Just had he kind of, like, been aware a little bit earlier on that spawn and recognized his teammate pushed up, he didn't need to hold the angle anymore. He might have been ready for that fight. He might have, been more helpful in that scenario. That's all. Okay. Hold up. And then we'll do the next life. It's kind of an interesting, missed opportunity on the macro side there. There you go.
Rocket launchers on the field.
Okay, that was actually it, though. So he dies here. At this point, they're down numbers. You can see it in the slays as well. He's died. His teammates died. So recognizing that, when you spawn up, you're in kind of like defense mode. So the flag's been pulled. Let's play this and see what he does.
Red team scored.
Yeah.
Enemy scored.
Once he gets back down, there isn't really anything he can do about that flag run. Like, the player's already pulled it out elbow. Once he's forced to thrust backwards, like this, he's basically out of the flag run. Like, that guy's going to get away. I can't think of, like, a convenient opportunity for him to stop that flag. The only thing I could say is to avoid this situation where you get naded immediately off your spawn, I think he should have taken the wide route. I think he should have gone pyramid, and then it's way harder for this guy to predict and also get hit like a proper bank nade to stop him as he runs up. So just having the extra presence of mind to be like, okay, I'm down numbers here. All of my teammates are down. Like, I'm spawning up ISO. If I take a wide expanded route here, I might be able to, you know, push up on the map and avoid that kind of pressure. But at the same time, I get it. Like, he's running forward. He's trying to stop the flag. Once he goes down and he's forced to back down, isn't really too much he can do to stop that flag from being ran. And then, yeah, he's, like, alone here. It's going to be hard to live. You got multiple players looking at him. So, here's what it is. And we'll see the next life. He's going to spawn his teammates up. Something interesting here. Okay.
Blue flag taken.
So I feel like in this situation, he had the right idea off of spawn. So his teammates went down. They have rockets. You can see, like, X's right when he spawns, 2 red X's. He's got one teammate alive who's, like, way out of the field to play. He can't conveniently help him. So he decides he's going to kind of play back and spawn his teammates with him and then push up when he has numbers, which I get the intention. I think this is fine. So I think, you know, consistent with that, he should really be thorough in his defense here. So he doesn't need to fly up as quickly as he did. And what I mean is, so he has his teammate on cave. He has one pushing, you know, the window. It's good to go this direction. I think he needed to be a little bit more thorough on the approach in that he should have jumped off the oven and gone up this direction and made sure he stopped the potential of a player pushing in the window here rather than immediately kind of skipping that and flying to maze, right? So just kind of like how he decided to stay back in blue base and take his time, do the same type of thing. As you're pushing up here, you're in defense mode. Your objective is just to get slays and stop them from pushing up. You don't necessarily need to push through and you know, try to find an opportunity to get through here. And I guess maybe part of it was just the distraction from that player on elbow. But because he didn't check that window opportunity, that player from window came out, like he was retreating, he came out and he went down behind him and backsmacked him. So had he looked up in window, he could have got an easy kill with his teammate. That's the only thing really there, is just try to be thorough in your defense, but he'll go down. And then next life.
Red carrier spotted.
So that flag's out of play now. Like they have to basically give up on it. Which was a good run too by the opposition. Like, so you'll see. He goes down. He's got one more teammate up. This enemy player gets a flagpole, recognizes that he has teammates on the snipe side of the map, so he's going to run it snipe side, which actually works out pretty well. Like, they get the slays, and he goes for the snipe side run. This is a flawless flag now, right? Like, this player on blue, he's not going to be able to do much to help. He's going to be in a fight with this guy red. Everybody else is going to be forced to spawn probably on elbow, like this guy right here. And by the time they spawn elbow, they're already kind of like too little too late. Like, the only thing this guy can hope to do is try to like maybe overextend through rockets. But then you've got a player in the middle who's kind of protecting. So this flag run is actually really solid that he went through snipe side. Recognized he had teammates there. Just picked a really good opportunity to do it. And a really good run too. Like that's like the ideal flag run that you want to do, where you drop it, jump thrust with it across the catwalk, and then you can get it in. So really good play. Hard to counter. And then we'll see his next life. There.
Red carrier spotted.
Yeah, so you can't really do much about that flag. I like this. He's going through to snipe. He's expanding over to snipe side while his teammates spawn elbow, but we'll just let him do the work here. So just kind of like another attempt at flag that didn't quite work out. But it was good that he kind of like, he spawned up with his teammates, recognized he had teammates already pushing up rockets. So instead of just being another player to push up rockets, he decided to sprint, thrust slide, expand to snipe side, and push through snipe side and take control of that, which gave him a huge opportunity because the guys on rockets ended up distracting this player top cat. He got right behind them, got a free kill here. The biggest thing I would say is, like, he can see this. This is something that he might have missed it out of the peripheral, like out of his peripheral, whatever, but there's a player who's weak right in the window. So I honestly think he could have flown window in this situation. By flying window, he could have helped get shots on this guy, cross him out, while these players are pushing in through red, this player is pushing through red elbow. That would have been a pretty good pinch scenario, and maybe they could have got a flag out of that. Instead, he's going cave, in which case he ends up kind of missing this opportunity. So, and he also has a player with him on snipe right here, so another reason why he could have gone for that middle route and it might have worked out. But he ends up getting behind this player. Both of his teammates die in the process, right? So both of his teammates down. Once again, had he gone window, maybe he would have salvaged that scenario. Hard to say. And now, you know, he's down numbers. He'll push up. Maybe could have got a thrust here instead of this reload. A thrust might have got him out of this situation, but regardless, hard situation to survive from. All he would have had to do is, like, maybe milk bottom red base, try to stay alive till his teammates spawn up and he has numbers again. Valkyrie, what's up, dude? How's it going? Thanks. Glad of you, or good of you, to tune in. We're about halfway through right now, and you can go back and check out the other stuff earlier when you get the opportunity to do so. Anyway, here's your next life here.
Double.
Sick play.
Weapon pads up.
Unfortunate. Sounds good, Valkyrie. I'd say, you know, most of your plays are pretty solid, man. So, I'd say you're pretty close to that next level. Just a couple little things.
Red flag.
Good opportunity here. This is kind of... We'll take a look at that in a sec, which is a little unfortunate, but you get the flag run, so honestly, great play. I'm going to go back even just from here, unless you die immediately. Let's just go back. Okay, so you die here, and then spawn up. And I like how you play this off spawn. So you get hit by a nade immediately, of course you want to back down. There's players on elbow side. You're going to choose elbow instead. Nice shots onto rockets. Staying alive here, like the way you stay alive here is pretty solid. You hug this wall pretty closely. Use your thrust to get back in here and stay alive. Player behind you, really quick strafe to get back behind that cover, and then you jump and take him out. So really solid work with your life there. Like, just kind of having your reticle ready, jumping, predicting that he might challenge that direction. I think you did a good job, you know, staying alive, cleaning up that kill. This part's a little bit unfortunate. You have a couple ways to get up to rockets, and it seemed like you couldn't really decide how you wanted to do this. You could just immediately crouch jump, clamber, get up to rockets, or you can walk up here and you can crouch jump. I would say maybe even try this in your own time or something. Crouch jump and do it backwards, because you could also do it backwards, right? Like, it seemed like maybe here you tried to jump or something, it didn't work. And then you didn't, like, you could have crouch jumped there to clamber that, and then you ended up clambering this ledge you didn't have to clamber, and then you missed the crouch jump. So kind of a weird scenario here where, like, you could have just kind of, like, walked up, crouch jumped backwards, had an angle on that guy at the same time potentially, and then jumped rockets, or jumped immediately. Whatever it is, you died, and, or sorry, you fell, but your reaction to falling was good because you recognize you got players above you anyway. You're just going to continue pushing forward. You're not going to waste time. You're not going to try to immediately get those rockets now that it would be, you know, very difficult for you to get there quickly. So instead, you're just going up to their elbows. So this works out. Stay alive, be a nuisance on the elbow, give your team an opportunity to push up and work with you. And that's exactly what you're doing. So this is all solid. So some good shots there to back him down. You're going to change lanes and go through bottom red, which works. You can see your teammates are getting slays now. Huge opportunity. You can start sprinting and moving up more quickly. By doing this, you're blocking cave. Red elbow is the most likely spawn, and you're aware of that. Grab sniper, and I like this kind of quick thinking here, because like I feel like a lot of players would just sit here and try to get this snipe on this enemy, but you decide that like your teammate drop flag, he can't do the run anymore, so you take what might be a bit of a risky play, but it works out really well for you. You just immediately go for that flag and try to continue the run, and you do a good job here. The only thing with the run is maybe you throw the flag out a little bit too far to the right, and you have to correct yourself. Like, this is kind of like wasted time, you could say, but everything else that you're doing as far as, like, clambering up, dropping the flag so you get full movement speed, pick it back up, drop, you know, throw it once again. If you didn't throw it out that far right on the first throw, it would have been a little bit faster, but ultimately really great run. And then this is just unfortunate. Like, I tried looking at this in slow motion. I felt like it shouldn't even have screwed you over, but it's just kind of like... It's just... Oh, fuck. I just skipped it too fast. Damn it. Hold on. Not even that I have to show this, but I literally, like, I was trying to look at this by the frame, and I just found it so weird how this flag works, because, like, basically the moment you press the input, I think your flag is under. So, like, dude, my hands. It's so hard to very gently press R button. It's like right about here, you can see it's like underneath, and then it just pops like that. The moment you press the input, it just kind of pops out beside it and then stands still. It's just a really weird ledge and something to be aware of. I know you're aware of it too. That's why you tried to go out wide here. Maybe like earlier, if you like, something about the position of your thrust kind of landed you like a little bit far to the right. Maybe you could have done like a clean crouch jump. Either way, it's just kind of a weird ledge that you always want to try to be aware of. You had timing for it though, so you get the flag. Thank you, Pete, for the biddies, man. I appreciate it, dude. Happy Sunday, you Halo genius. Thank you, man. Still learning with all you guys. We're all figuring it out together. Anyway, so now you're sniping from window here. You will get taken out by this player who challenges you. Not too much you can do there. You just kind of miss the snipes that you need to hit, but you know, ultimately you got taken down. Let's see your next life. Can't believe Plum backed off on you there. You scared that man off. And then you're dead. So some stuff was pretty great here, actually. One sec, I'm gonna turn off that dehumidifier, guys. Okay. Backwards nade thrust to fountain. Let me see. Yeah, there were some good plays in this life for sure. So you spawn up, you got player elbow, you're going to go for the maze, which is something that you like to do. Maze is going to work out here as well. It's a good middle route. You got a teammate with you. That's fine. The one thing I like, though, is you actually are, like, thorough in your defense this time. So last time you did this, you went up into maze, and you just pushed up. You're, like, looking for an angle this direction. But this time, you're more thorough. You immediately turn around and jump up. And maybe because you hear the player right above you. But this would have helped you that last time when you were trying to get, you know, you're defending base, and you kind of skipped the window angle. This time you actually go for it, and you get the best of this guy right here. So that works out really well. Back down immediately. You're going to change lanes. You have a teammate with you in the middle lane as well. So this is a really good lane change. You're getting a nice expanded angle, and that player is not ready for you. So you can finish him off. So perfect. Now, the only issue with this battle is I think your gut reaction should be either to, yes, you can thrust right and you can get out of here completely, but if you want to keep your momentum, apply pressure, and also have cover, always consider this angle here. Like, if you crouch jump backwards and thrust your way behind this wall, you can kind of still stay alive, apply pressure, and you have some cover to work with. Your reaction thrust is to thrust left and kind of crouch in this corner. And because I would say this isn't the greatest thrust to do, I think your reaction after the thrust is good. Like, you meet him with confidence. Like, you did a bad thrust, you're in a bad spot, but you crouch strafe and you're aggressive, you're confident, right? And you still scare him off despite the huge advantage that he has. So good that you're able to kind of follow through and say, like, oh my god, I put myself in a poor situation with that thrust. Best thing I can do here is crouch, strafe, be confident as possible, and scare that man down, put him back down so you can stay alive. So solid. But I would say, I cannot work this camera. I would say consider jumping backwards and getting back here and running the pyramid route where you have a little bit more cover as well. Goofy with the follow. Thank you, Goofy. Appreciate it, man. Looking forward to chatting with you soon, dude. You'll get taken down by Face in that fight, and that's fine. Big fan. Big fan of you as well, dude. Looking forward to chatting, man. Alright, this is your next life.
Rockets in 10.
Okay.
Blue carrier spotted.
Should have checked the ramp there. I'll go back in a sec.
Blue team scored.
Good flag.
Flag delivered.
Really good play. And then you die. Right, right. And then turn your attention to ramp. Yeah, that could have been helpful. You're right. Now that you're one shot in the situation, even maybe it's hard to say, right? Because like you're kind of isolated in this. It's a 2v1 scenario. If you decide to go down and try to escape, like you still have the potential threat of this guy in maze. Maybe if you I don't know if you had a nade that you tossed. You do have a nade. You can toss a nade maze and you can change your route, right? Like you could drop as well and make it hard for this guy to kill you, right? So that you're not in his line of fire. But, I mean, that's kind of a cool reaction as well. It's hard to actually, like, effectively get a backsmack in this scenario. Like, I get the intention where you notice he's there and then you just try to go for maybe a backsmack or something. But, yeah, I don't know. Tough situation. You got to be really quick to think there. I think, yeah, your nade might have been a good way of, like, you know, holding off one side so that you can kind of drop in a little bit more safely, but... Or you could have just checked it earlier, but you would have been one shot in that fight, so it would have been a tough fight. As far as the next life, though... Okay, hold up. Okay, so the next life... Your teammate has grabbed the flag. He's running it. You're playing defense here. And then the one thing I like that you do is... Alright, so you get the nice melee kill. You decide, okay, the flag is down on the elbow here, on the floor here. You decide to go... Or at first, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to go through this window. I like how you change your mind and you decide to double stack the flag like this. Because this is risky, right? If you were to fly right through here when they have numbers, you're putting yourself vulnerable to like so many different angles here just by going this way and trying to wrap around. You could die on your way over to that flag. So I like the quick thinking to like change your mind and double stack this flag route and just make sure you try to clean up this player because it works out really well. And the flag's close enough that I think you might be able to afford desperating like this, because if you spawn up, you might still be able to stop any kind of a counter, I think. Hard to say, but you make it work really well. Take advantage of the shields that you have to jump in, thrust out with the flag, you get the cap, so tie up the game. Big John, what's up, man? Here's the next life.
Blue flag taken. Red carrier spotted.
Good shots.
Guard. Blue flag returned. Blue flag reset.
Yeah, definitely be quick and efficient to check all those angles. Definitely. That's always helpful. This wide route's solid. Didn't need to thrust there. Because if you had your thrust, you might have won that battle. So you get the flag. You die. So this is good defense here. Nice shot. Take out that player. You can get the return. That's fine. I'm not really sure what that nade was. There's a couple questionable nades in general where you kind of do just like throw nades in different locations. And it's hard to say like how to fix that up, right? Like if you should think more specifically about like what types of nades you're throwing, where they're going to land. Because there was one earlier that you threw that was like way out over to like red DMR or I don't know. I'm going to skip it for now, but I was thinking about it like, you know, we could probably all of us be a little bit more efficient on where we throw our nades when we choose to. Anyway. So this is good that you're expanding out snipe side here. You have your teammates pushing up through the center of the map. This jump out the side ends up being really beneficial for you. This player's trying to escape. You get an easy headshot to finish him off. And then this right here, nice clean crouch jump. That like one crouch jump from one side to the other will get you right in that nook, and you can get out of there. You don't need to burn your... Why can't I... I can't... Okay, I could not change camera angle. Two-shot beatdown is fine. You got the beatdown. Had you had your thrust, though, maybe you had an opportunity for an outplay if you'd saved it. That's all, really. But you still get a trade, so that's solid. Spawn up. Pretty good at you know, recognizing where you have numbers and try to fill in the gaps that your teammates, you know, aren't taking up, aren't in, basically. So you'll go for a middle route. So good that you're kind of aware and able to quickly, like, you know, weave within your teammates. Work with your teammates pretty effectively, so that's good. Spending a lot of time back here, though. But you are down numbers now, so... Good stick.
Ooh, bloody knuckles.
Rocket launcher in 10 seconds.
Red flag
Okay.
taken. From the hip. Blue
Kind of a
carrier
lot going
spotted.
on here. Hold up. So you spawn up. You have no teammates on this angle. You take this angle, which is solid. You put some good damage in as a result. You're playing defense here when you don't necessarily have to for, you know, early on. When your teammates do go down, it makes sense. Though this seems like super risky that you kind of walk out front and drop out front. You don't get punished for it, though, so it's hard to say, like, if it's the wrong thing. I mean, at this point, being low presence, like, they all have an advantage over you. You're maintaining a low presence, which I think is fine. You get behind this player. Stick is the best thing that you can do. Like, that rather than try to go for a back smack, especially when you're under pressure. I like the attempt to stick here, and you get it. Now I'm thinking, like, could you go for a flag? You managed to get this far without people recognizing exactly where you are. Minus, I guess, there's this one guy who's trying to wrap around that you might want to be aware of. But I was thinking maybe there's a pull opportunity here, considering the fact that everybody else is committed up forward. And your teammate takes out this guy on oven as well, right? So considering the timing that you have here, you might have actually been able to get a pull. Going back, though, works out for you because then you end up cutting off this player. So at least, you know, you're doing something efficient with that decision regardless, right? So you get the kill. You have a teammate on cave. This is definitely becoming an opportunity for a pull. You got a sniper now as well. Lasky, what's up, man? You're not really ready for this angle here. Hard to say that, like, that's wrong, because I feel like you're turning and trying to prepare yourself for either window or elbow, so you don't really consider rockets, and you're kind of, like, late to react to it, but you still do hit the shot, and then you get a headshot there for a trade, so sorry. So solid. And then your teammate gets a flagpole at the same time. He pulls it, throws it out front,
2-minute warning.
but I think it's going to be a dead flag. We're getting down to the last 2 minutes. Something pretty funny happens here. So something to consider, and it's funny that, like, nobody really considers this. You spawn up, and you die immediately by rockets. Not too much you can do about that situation. You spawn up, a guy challenges you with rockets, you both die at the same time. He drops the rocket launcher on the floor. Nobody checks for this rocket launcher. You don't consider checking, and nobody else checks, and it despawns. Watch this. Like, nobody goes back to look for that rocket launcher, and that would have been so helpful. You spawn up on cave, the first thing you should do when you push up, like, is the rocket launcher there? It is, right? There's one shot in that rocket launcher. You jump right over it, which, yeah, this is a good way to jump up to this angle here, right? At the same time, you're kind of down numbers. The enemy team was pushing up through elbow. That's also the reason why you spawn cave as well. Try to think of, like, you know, why did I spawn here? What's happening right now that forced me to spawn with my 3 teammates in this location? You know that they're probably on elbow, probably pushing through window, right? So you want to kind of be holding an angle, be in defense mode here. Pushing up and, like, taking this angle could work as well. But, you know, just kind of recognize that's why you're forced, all 3 of your teammates are forced into this position, because they're on that side of the map. So yeah, it's just funny because the rockets sit there, and not only do you not consider checking them, nobody else notices that they're there, and they will sit there till they despawn, which is pretty funny. So pretty big opportunity with those. You recognize that your teammate died bottom mid. You look for the bottom mid angle, think maybe he went up silver, and then he does throw a nade last second. You can hear it, but it's hard to determine where it came from, so I can understand that if you thought he maybe went silver, so you go back up. This is kind of funny. Like, there's nobody in this location, right? You're kind of like looking for enemies. They're still on the elbow, and I guess try to pay attention to slays and kill feed at this moment because nobody's really gone down. They're still kind of milking on elbow, and you're just throwing nades at no one at this point. But it's like a lot of action happening on your right that you're kind of just missing. But you are making progress on the map. Like this too, like you can see that there's a guy elbow, and I guess you're gonna go for to try to chase instead. But like a lot of opportunity for you to apply a ton of damage on like elbow, and now you're gonna get caught off by rockets. So you're gonna have to just cross him.
Blue carrier spotted.
In the meantime, you got 2 flags been pulled, right? So flag for flag. This is a good opportunity here. So your teammate does a really good job grabbing that flag, and then you just go for it. Nice stick. Great trade. They get a return, and I think they win off this as well. Or he gets it far enough for you to just go in and grab it. So it works out really well. So good stuff from your teammate even, which if you go back here, he pulls it. Where is he? There he is. He recognizes he has an opportunity to pull it. That guy an elbow pushed up. And then he stays alive and drops it right where you are. And then you pick up the run.
Blue carrier spotted.
Right? Bam. Drops it. And he manages to stay alive.
We got 1 minute left.
It's a pretty crazy situation here. And he's crossing. You go for the pull. They get the quick re. I'm assuming red team probably shouldn't even have ran at snipe side, to be honest. Like, I didn't really look into what they're doing, but I feel like red team shouldn't have been headbutting in the way that they did. They probably had an elbow side opportunity that would have been free. But for whatever reason, their teammate picked snipe. Yeah, so you just fly in, thrust backwards, and you get the win off that.
Blue team score.
Which is solid.
Special delivery.
But yeah, man, honestly, I'd say most of your plays were pretty good. There weren't any, like, glaring issues that I thought really popped up in this gameplay. For the most part, like, your reticle placement is solid. You're good at working with your teammates, recognizing the angles that they're not in and taking those positions. Playing expanded, too, like, recognizing opportunities where, you know, your teammates they might have center and rocket side control and expanding out snipe side and getting good angles for those. There were a couple macro mishaps, a really cool scenario where you guys had blocked elbow, you'd blocked base and cave, so it forced the spawn bottom red, and nobody was aware of the fact that bottom red was the spawn that was forced. So they got away with that bottom red spawn and created like a really interesting dilemma that you don't normally see. So definitely something to look back and check into. And you were like kind of sniping here, holding the angle too long, and you missed an opportunity there. So some macro stuff for sure, but most of your gameplay I'd say is pretty clean. Just a couple little things to be aware of as far as this game goes. But thank you for the submission, man. Hopefully some of this was informative and you learned something valuable from it. I'll probably send you a DM and ask for like personal feedback. Just recommend that you watch it through, see what you think, and always looking for more feedback to you know, upgrade my own analysis and whatnot. Anyway, no problem, Valkyrie. I appreciate the submission, dude.